Okay, guys, we are back. We are going to add some bones or skelegons to these shapes, and then we will save this out, and then we will send it into layout, and we will finalize our rigging. All right, so we're going to set this up so we can animate. Okay, so a couple things. We have a different couple of objects here, and there's no right or wrong way to do this, okay? You just have to figure out whatever way works best for you. A little bit of trial and error, but I'm going to give you a suggestion, and since we're just getting started, why don't you just do what I do once, and then you can deviate on your own and kind of experiment and figure out new methods that work best for you. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start out with layer 1, and I will work my way through this. Okay, so a couple things. We're going to look at setting up skelegons, and we'll also think about weight mapping. All right, so we're going to review how to do that stuff. All right, so here we go. Here's the center of my flower, and truthfully and honestly, I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm just going to leave it go. I do not need bones in it, okay? All we need bones for is to deform something. So for instance, this petal, I might want to have it bend, and I think what we'll do with this is we will add a bone chain, all right? So here's the shape, looks pretty good. So again, I will go to a new layer. I will put the shape that I want to add the bones to in the background, so you can see that here. And now I'm going to go to my setup tab. So remember, we're setting things up, so we go to the setup tab. So in the setup tab, you look to the left. What's this? Create skelegons. Great. So that's what you want to do. So I'm going to hit create skelegon, and I'm going to stop. Okay. The tool's active because it's blue. So look at your different windows. Okay. Where's the best window to work? Well, that's kind of up to you. All right. But truthfully and honestly, for me, it's either going to be the top window or it's going to be this back window. All right. I'm just going to go click in this back window. The secret is, though, you want to make sure that you're starting at the base, okay? So where this petal is going to connect to your flower. So in my case, it's going to be this narrow spot. So here or here. So I'm going to left mouse click at that tip, and I'm going to hold my mouse down, and I'm going to pull it all the way through the top, okay? Like so, and then release. When you're orange, that means you're still in bone drawing mode. So I'm still in that orange highlight mode. So I'm good. I'm just going to hit enter. It looks pretty good. So you can see I have a nice bone there. All right. So what I want to do with this bone, it's really just a polygon. It's really called a skelegon, is I'm going to split it. So to split it, I want to select that bone or skelegon. Okay. Look over at my left in my tools, and I'm going to find the word split skelegon. And I'm going to hit that once, twice. Okay. How many bones you add is entirely up to you. It just depends how you want this object to deform. All right, so as many bones as you have will determine how smooth your deformation can be or how round your shape can be. But that looks pretty good for what I need. So when you're done, we want to get rid of this. Okay, we have it, but it needs to be in the actual geometry in that object. So if the bone's sitting on a layer by itself, it's not doing you any good. So I'm going to cut this. So Control X. Or you can go back to the Sudac tab and you can find the word cut. But Control X comes in handy. So if you can, like X-Man, remember that shortcut, okay? So I'm going to use the shortcut, but if you can't remember that, just go to the Sudac tab. I put a little cut button there for you so you can just click that. So Control X, pretty good. Come back to the layer. That's going to be my petal. Looks good. Paste, Control V. Okay, and there we go. And if you can't remember paste, I also put a paste button there for you to make life a little easier. All right, so the bones are in my object. It looks great. So I want to deselect because those bones are selected. I'll click and deselect. And next, I might want a weight map. I don't know, but in case I need one, I might as well just do it now. So here we go. I'm going to look at the lower right-hand corner, and you're going to see the W is already kind of active. So that says we're in weight mode. So you see where it says none. If I click on that, there's a little drop down window, and I'm going to pull down here till it says new, and you'll get a window. It says, hey, create weight map. Great. So name it whatever you want. I'm going to call it ped for petal, and I'm going to hit create, and it will say new petal created. All right. So how do you know if it works? It does work. Okay. But you can't see it if you're in this view right here, texture wire. If you want to double check a weight map, you can always click where it says texture wire, and then you can change your mode to weight shade. If it's orange, That's a weight map at 100%. Okay, if you look at something that's not weight mapped, you're going to see there is no orange, it's just green. All right, so that's weight shade mode. Guys, I do not recommend you stay in this mode forever because really it's hard to see and it can kind of slow the computer down. So it's cool to check your weight maps, but don't stay in that mode for too long. Remember to go back, and I think since we're just starting, let's just stay in that texture wire mode. It's easiest to see, okay? So that's done. Moving on. This is my pot. So is my pot gonna deform with anything? And the answer is no. I don't need any bones in the pot. I'm not gonna do anything with it. So I'm gonna again skip that. No bones. Next, the stem. Is the stem gonna bend or articulate in some way? I'm gonna say yes. Okay. So for our stem, we're gonna go to a new layer, put the stem in the background. Okay. So select the lower half of that stem layer, and you can see it. If you need to, you can hit A on your keyboard. That'll frame everything so you can see what you're doing. Okay. Now I'm going to jump back into that setup tab. Okay. So setup tab. And again, I'm going to find the word create skelegons. I'm going to click on it. It's blue. I want to start from the base where this is going to rotate from and then draw my bones up. Okay. In this case, the flower stem is going to rotate from the pot area or from the bottom. So with that in mind, I'm going to left mouse click in the bottom. Again, I'm in the right hand window this time. So I'm just going to click and drag up all the way through it. It's okay if the bone goes a little higher than the object itself. That's fine. I release my mouse. Looks pretty good. Remember, orange means we're still active, so hit enter. And I have this big skelegon. Remember, it's just like a polygon, but it's actually going to be a bone at some point. So this is fine, but if I just have one bone, there's nothing to bend, okay? Remember, bones are like little magnets, and they affect points. So the more bones you have and the more points you have, the more deformation your object can have and the better your animation will be, okay? So what we're going to do here is select that bone, okay, or skelegon, and we're going to look at our tools and we're going to split this once, twice, 3 times. Let's just go 4 times, okay? Again, that's an arbitrary number. You just kind of decide what you think you would need. No right, no wrong. If you do 3 or you do 5, it's not going to make much of a difference for this guy, okay? But I do want to take these bones and cut them. So Control X, and I do want to paste them inside of this little guy here, which is going to be my stem. Control V. Okay, that's done. So I'll deselect, and I am going to do a weight map. I don't know if I'm going to need it or not, but just in case I'm here, why not? So my weight map window is still up. I never closed it. So since it's still up, I'm just going to go ahead and take advantage of that. I'm going to change the name here, and I'll call it stem. And then I'll just hit create. And if you want to double check, it did say new map created, but if you don't trust that, you can always just go ahead, oops, sorry, to texture wire here, weight shade. Ah, good, looks good. All right, so this is done. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to my texture wire. I'm done. I'm ready to rig this, except for one thing. I think for me, to make life a little easier, I'm gonna put the petal and this little ball here, and I'm gonna merge them together. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take these 2 layers and I'm gonna merge them. But before I do that, I'm gonna hit A on my keyboard so I can see this petal, and I'm gonna put the ball here in the background. And I'm gonna zoom out with my comma key and take a look at this. All right, so I'm gonna make a flower, all right? And I want multiple petals. And there's a lot of different ways to do this. The best way is to create a radial array, but we're not gonna do that in this class, not for now. So we're gonna keep this, simple and do what we know. So I'm gonna hit T to move, and I'm gonna go in this top window, and I'm gonna place this petal where I think it would look good on my flower. So again, I'm looking down at this flower, it looks pretty good. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this petal over multiple times and paste it, and then rotate and move it into place. So I'm gonna hit my space bar to drop my move tool. I'm going to right mouse click and lasso select this whole shape. You can see it's all active, okay? You can look in the perspective mode, but do not go to this window and don't do any modeling there. Just look at it, okay? So everything's selected here. So I'm gonna just hit Control C, Control V. So I basically now have 2 of the exact same thing. I'm gonna hit Y to rotate. I'm gonna put my cursor, since it's set to action center mouse, I'll just put it right in the middle of the shape, and I'll just click and I'll rotate, and you're gonna see, cool, a new petal. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna do the same thing again. Control C, Control V, keep my cursor in the middle, and this rotate. Looks pretty good. Control C, Control V, I'm gonna rotate. Looks pretty good. Control C, Control V. I'm going to rotate. Looks pretty good. Control C, Control V, rotate. All right, great. I'm done. Spacebar to drop the tool, deselect. So I have these petals. They look pretty good. Up to you now at this point if we want to merge these two layers together. We don't have to, but if we don't, we're going to have to do some extra parenting over in layout. So it's up to you. I think just for the sake of demonstration, I will merge these, and then these other shapes I'll leave on layers so we can see a little bit of the benefit of either method of merging or parenting. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this ball, I'm going to cut it, Control X, and I'm going to go back to the layer with the petals and Control V to paste. Okay. So this is all on one layer. So the computer is going to treat this as one object. This is done. All right. I have a basic petal object here. Looks good. I have a pot and I have a stem. It's all ready to be set up in layout and we can start animating it. Okay. I'm going to hit S to save. Okay. And if you want, this is a really good idea. If you hit Shift S, you're going to see the name here. It creates an instance. It creates a copy. All right. So it's always a good idea to have a lot of copies of your work in case something crashes or goes wrong. Okay. So Shift S, I'll do it again. It just makes another file. Guys, these file sizes are really small because really this is just a bunch of numbers. That's really all it is. So a bunch of numbers on like a data sheet. It's not taking up any space. So hit Shift S as many times as you want. Okay, so this is saved. There is another option you could do if you really wanted to. In the Windows area here of your tools, there's a layer panel. If you click on it, you're going to see there it is, flower. I just made that, and I have these unnamed. You can leave them unnamed, but sometimes it's easier to name them. So if you double click, it lets you name. So I'll just call this one, whatever, petal, make it fast. Double click, I'll call this one pot, make it go quick. And then this one I'll double click and we'll call this stem. All right, so again, I just, whatever's fastest. I only type with one hand, so I tend to just use short little names that make sense to me. You pick what makes sense to you. It doesn't really matter. Hit S to save and we're good. This is finished. I'm gonna make another video here and we'll show you how to set this thing up in layout.